this is Random Doll Account, back at it again with another video. So as you can see, there are a few camera improvements that I've made. I've put some lights in the back, and then I'm talking to you on a brand new camera. So if I look a little bit too HD, let me know. Anyways, but today, I wasn't expecting to make this video, to be honest. I'll go ahead, I'll make the part 2 to my tier ranking series. I'll either Wednesday or Saturday. It'll happen. I'm gonna film that right after this, after the filming issues that I had last week. I literally spent all day trying to fix that video. Oh, okay, anyways, but today we are going to go ahead and talk about Absinthe Elyse Jolie. So, I'll give you some context. So basically, I don't know what was going on in the past week in the doll community, but I feel like there was a weird amount of drama. And I was like, what is happening? And I was just over on Mark Tinky's channel. I'm not even gonna lie. I was over on Mark Tinky's channel, just like vibing and whatever this entire time. And I was like, look, I don't even have money like that right now, so I can't even be buying dolls like that. And then we get the this email. And I'm like, oh, we're getting another Jason Wu doll. Yay, okay, let's see what he's got for us. So I click into it, and then what I see, I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving this awkwardness in because, okay, to give you reference, I do like Elyse. I have one Elyse. I like Elyse in like 2 different capacities. So I am either I like Elyse whenever she has like pale skin and a very bold makeup, or I like Elyse whenever she has like darker skin and a neutral makeup. But I do not like my Elyses pale with a neutral makeup. I also have, I feel like I would like a Elyse that's darker with like, a more bold makeup, but like there is a specific type of Elyse that I am not fond of. This is that type of Elyse. And I'm so sorry for anybody who likes this doll. Like, that's the thing. I have my personal taste, other people are allowed to have their own. One of my friends, he loves the base doll of this. I don't get it. So for the record, like, I'm okay with like not being on the same side as everybody else on this. I'm going ahead, I'm looking at my phone, and I'm going to give you guys the stats. So according to the specs, Absinthe Elyse Jolie has an edition size of 800. It's literally coming out at the same time as like 7 other dolls, so we all have to keep that in mind. It is a cream skin tone, and she has ginger hair, and her price is $220. Like, they say like special W Club price $199 plus shipping and handling, but the tariff is happening, so it's going to be $220 to get this doll. And she has an amazing story. I'll go ahead and read it just because I think it's fun, and it like keeps the theme going of like what's been happening with fashion royalty this year. Elyse Jolie had always been a private person, but she was having a difficult time keeping it that way of late. Only Adele knew that she had been dating billionaire playboy Alexander Beaumont Durand, who finally announced his separation from his wife of several years, which only made the paparazzi hound him harder for a scoop on whom he might be dating. Well, Veronique and Eugenia also knew, because Adele had to fill them in once Elyse agreed to be the face of a new makeup campaign that W was producing. Elyse was even going to walk the runway. What have I done? Elyse wondered. The runway was far away from her formerly private life running her family's finishing school. She knew when she became a model, she would be in the public eye every day. Now, as her name had surfaced as Alex's possible new love interest, she was worried about even more attention. Elyse begged Alex not to attend the upcoming runway show, where she was walking in a collab between W Cosmetics and Jason Wu's Haute Couture line in Paris. But trying to get an uber-successful man like Alex to do, or not do something, was not an easy task. Making matters worse, Alex was an investor in W Cosmetics' rival, AVW by Agnes von Weiss. Please, mon cher, she begged. I don't need the cameras and the headlines. I don't want to steal attention away from the W Cosmetics team. You are so beautiful when you worry about nothing, Alex gushed, brushing off Elise's concerns and taking her face in his hands while he kissed her deeply. She knew what he would do, that she knew he would do whatever he wanted. The day of the show, Elyse was backstage, having her hair and makeup expertly done by the W Cosmetics team, where she would be showing off a new line called Absinthe. As she was set to close the show, before she moved from hair and makeup to wardrobe, she couldn't help but peek into the audience. She spotted Alex in the crowd, chatting up someone. She couldn't make out who it was because, as she worried, cameras were going off all around him. When Alex had arrived at the show, he had noticed a familiar face in the audience, so he made his way to sit next to her. What are you doing here, beautiful? He asked, sliding into his chair. The young woman laughed and looked at him blankly, and then laughed. You must think I'm Lilith, Eden said. Alexander looked confused, but then joined the laughter as Eden explained that she and Lilith were identical twins. He told her how he was an investor in AVW and had met Lilith and become better acquainted in recent months. Their discussion was cut short by no less than 5 men with cameras and a handful of autograph seekers. The show was about to begin. Elyse paced backstage, trying to be supportive of the other girls as they made their way down the runway. Finally, it was her turn. Elyse drew in her breath as she did her signature glide down the runway. She was effortless and looked like she was floating on air. Her beautiful updo showed off her cheekbones and the stunning Absinthe W Cosmetics palette. As she got to the end of the runway for her signature pirouette-inspired turn, she saw Alex and then saw Lilith next to him. Or was it Eden? It was always so hard to tell. She tried not to get distracted so she could do her job. The show was a rousing success. However, Alex's presence did cause a stir in the press. First was the rumor that he was in the audience to expand his portfolio and make an investment in AVW's rival, W Cosmetics. Second was a bunch of photos and salacious headlines speculating that they had uncovered Alex's new lover and naming her as Eden Blair. Okay, so I'm going to get into the doll herself, but can we talk about this for a second? I think we're going to get Eden. What I'm trying to say is I was like looking at the story and I was like, the story gives me more that I'm excited for than the actual doll herself. And that's like what I'm going to say about this review. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to keep the story in, but like, the fact that Eden is such a heavy part of the story and she's at the fashion show and all of that stuff, I think we're going to get an Eden this year. I'm intrigued to see what she's going to look like. I think she's going to come soon. I don't know why, but I feel like this story makes me think that she's coming in soon. And then I would love, I want to buy him. I would love to see Alexander. Like, I would love to see Alexander as a doll. Elyse, I don't like this doll. Like, I'm just gonna be upfront about it. There's nothing about her that I personally like. This face, I kind of joke that sometimes whenever Elyse is pale with a neutral makeup, I like the green eye. I just wish her lips were different. I kind of liken her to like the Ghost of Christmas Past. Like, she almost looks ghastly, she does look almost school marmish, and so like her past in that particular capacity like makes total sense. But yeah, no, like the doll herself, she looks too pale for me. And it's like the red hairs, because it's tied so intensely back, it's not like doing what I want it to do. And then whenever I'm looking at this outfit, yeah, it's not for me either. I feel like the actual Jason Wu dress, the appliques on it look a little bit more three-dimensional, and the way that the dress sits in the actual Jason Wu collection dress, it like goes further to the ground, whereas this one, it's higher up, and I feel like the pattern on the dress doesn't look as, I don't know how else to say it, like the original dress looks almost like puffy. Like, it looks kind of like You know, whenever acrylic paint, whenever it dries, it has that like textural effect. It almost has that, but this dress doesn't really look like she has that, to be honest with you. And then her accessories don't really impress me either. I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, cool. She has 3 sets of hands. Love that. She has a very simple pair of earrings. What is that? A ring? A purse? And that's it. I like the little Jason Wu bag. I think that that's a cute touch, but it should be a cute touch, right? And this is where kind of my problem lies with this doll. Okay. So if you're paying $220 for a doll, theoretically, I feel like there should be something super impressive, right? I don't like the body. I don't like the dress. I don't like the shoes. Well, that's the thing. I like each individual part in theory, but in practice, I don't really love it. I don't really like this at all. In fact, I thought long and hard about this. Because of the price, $220 plus shipping and handling, because of the time that it's coming out, which is the same time that all of these dolls are about to be released, because like this outfit is not giving what it needs to give, which is this beautiful fall 2024 dress, and because the accessories are so basic, this might be one of, dare I say, my least favorite releases of the year. If you love this doll, I can see why. If you have a preference for a pale Elyse with a neutral makeup, right? Relatively neutral. Obviously, her eyes are very done up. But, like, if you like that kind of thing, like a pale Elyse with, like, a very nude lip and, like, you know, a green eye makeup, I could see you liking this. However, I feel like there's a difference between I could see somebody liking this versus if it's the best version of this. I hope I'm making some form of sense. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I could see this being good. But the problem is that, like, whenever I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at her deeply, I go down to the original dress and I'm like, I like the original dress so much better, you know? So it's one of those things where it's like, is this the best version of this doll that we could have gotten? I don't think so. And I don't think it's the best bang for your buck. Not to say that Jason Wu dolls are like a good bang for your buck, generally speaking. They're usually not. But like, from an honest perspective, I can see somebody being like, oh, you know, like Poppy, right? If Poppy gets a new face mold that's never going to be used again, you're going to pay extra because it's like, okay, well, this is the only opportunity that you're going to have to own this face mold before it shoots up to like $1,000 or something, right? Like, so I could see that mentality, right? I can see the mentality of like Venus Rising Eugenia, because I think that she's gorgeous, honestly. But like, an additional element of it is, I see all those beautiful appliques, right? And then that face up is basically just an update on a face up that in essence is impossible to get, right? So I could see the appeal of that, right? And I could see why it would warrant that price point. You know, Optical Nadja, even though I personally own Optic Verb Agnes, I can see why somebody would be like, oh, great. It's Nadja in a skin tone that she's never been in before, right? B, she's an optic, which all of those dolls are incredibly expensive, you know, but specifically, you know, Optic Verb and Optic Clash are super expensive. So I can definitely see somebody like being like, yeah, $220, absolutely, like, sign me up. Because personally, that I was like that, even though I own the original Optic Verb, and then I also own Optic Illusion Giselle, so like I get that mentality. And like, that's the thing, I understand that like she has a face up that's similar to previous Elyse Grails that people really love, right? I don't like those either. So I don't like those either, you know, like that's the thing. It's kind of hard because it's like the previous ones I could kind of justify on some level because I'm like, oh, well, you know, I like them on some level. Whereas this, I'm like, I don't even like that, you know, the Bergdorf Elyse. So this doll is just so not for me, you know? But I do love this blurb that she's got. I do love to see what's coming next. And I'm getting really excited by what's coming next. So even though if a doll isn't for me, I'm always going to be checking for the story because I'm like, maybe it'll show me something. And this one does, big time. And I'm so excited to see Eden. I hope she comes out soon. She's because I have the Lilith from this year. So I'm like, oh, it'd be great to add the Eden. I'm really excited for that. And I'm not going to like, you know, take that excitement away is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, so that is going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, you know, all the fun stuff. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I do post at least every week. With the way the cap cut's going, who knows? Anyways, but thank you so much, and you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!